So this little video is all about the Pilates half roll back. So come and sit and put your hands here. Find the crease at the back of your knees. So your feet can either be flat or on your heels. Now I find it's easier in the beginning to have something like a rolled up blanket or a block or a book between the knees, like that. Because I find that when people start to do this move, the knees tend to fall out, or one falls in and one falls out, and they go all over the place. So this is quite a nice thing to do to think, so you haven't got to think about it. One less thing to think about. There's quite a lot going on in this move. So if your hands are right underneath your knees here, if you pull, you'll start to feel that as you pull towards you, you will lift. So your tailbone's off the floor. Okay, so a lot of us sit like this, don't we? And we get used to being in this position, and everything pushes down here, and then we get tight here, and we breathe into our shoulders. So if you start to feel you're going to be here to begin with, you start to think about, oh yes, tailbone is off the floor, very nice, my spine is feeling lengthened, and you can see the horizon straight ahead of you. Because when you're like this, all you can see is down on the floor, and you really have to tighten up your neck in order to look to the horizon. So lengthen, lengthen, as if your heart is looking straight ahead of you. And now you're going to slump backwards. So start to tilt slightly backwards. Slumping is the wrong word really, isn't it? But feel as if your little vertebrae here in your back have got little bits of string attached to them, and someone is gently pulling them towards the back of the room. So you start to tuck underneath you. Your hip bones move away from the legs until you feel your arms are straight, and then you come back up. And you're rolling back up. As if you're rolling backwards and forwards like a ball, rolling back and then rolling forwards. Nothing changes really with the rest of the body. Your focus is really on what's going on in your tailbone, in your pelvis, rolling away from the legs and rolling back up. And then you can practice with the arms away from the legs. Palms can face upwards, or you can link your hands together. You can feel that if I was in the room with you and I was at the end of your mat, I was holding on to your fingers or your wrists, and I was feeling that I was trying to hold on to you as you roll away from me. So you don't feel that the arms are coming back with you. So they're staying away and helping you come back up. It's quite a nice little image to work with. And can you feel? This is doing quite a lot of work here, because if you take that away and then you do that without that, just notice where your legs can go all over the place. You can try it with your legs together and your feet together by tilting away from the legs and coming back up. That is quite nice. But again, it can be a lot of work. You might find that you tighten up your jaw and you hold your breath. So if you find that you're compensating here in your jaw and your shoulders, then put that blanket back between, or that block between the knees. Then come and lie down on the floor, because the roll up really does start from here. That is a really good place to start. You lengthen out your legs, yeah, you take your hands up to the ceiling, you lift your head and you look towards your feet, and you can feel you're going to reach for your feet. But if you bend your knees, you can probably just about grab hold the back of your legs and see if you, as you come up to here, you might want to lengthen your legs out. And then you can roll back down again, and as you come down, you can bring your legs with you. Lengthen the legs away from you, take your arms back, lift them up, look towards your feet. Are your feet in the middle, or are they rolled out, or are they rolled in? You can bend your knees if you can think you're going to stop. If you get stuck here, see if you can hold onto your legs and pull yourself up. And then lengthen the legs. So you can see your feet. Are your feet rolled out or your feet rolled in? Can you be in the middle of your heel? And then you can come back down. Now if you feel that's too much for you, then you can come to here and then come back down. You don't have to do all this with the arms. Some people, when they do this, they go and really do too much from the effort from the chin, the shoulders and the jaw. So you might just want to have your hands here to begin with. It's all about practicing and finding what works for you. So that's why it's quite nice to start in the seated position with the half roll back. You start to feel what's happening here, building up some strength in the abdominals, you're letting go, you're doing that reversing of your pelvis. And then you can find that then you might find it easier to then start to do some practice from the floor. And if you want to practice with the arms, I find it's quite nice. Your feedback is to have something like a towel or a blanket underneath the ribs. So when you do take your arms back behind you, let your rib cage stay down into the blanket or the towel. When you lift your arms, you can feel that you're using the abdominals then, the back together. So you're not hiking your shoulders up towards your ears. Then you can lift and come up. And you might find that's a little bit easier. It's some feedback. And when you come back down, you can put your ribs going down into the towel. There's a lot of us to tie up here in our shoulders and in our back, and find that taking the arms back could be quite a big thing. Pressing down into the towel. So if I was here, I wouldn't be able to pull that towel away from you. So you're folding, feeling that you're folding from the ribs. And then you come back up. Play around with it, have some fun with it. Don't take it too seriously, but at the same time, don't overdo it and don't get injured. Happy practicing.